Hi, I'm Nene and welcome to the A Space. So since we're halfway in 2021, I wanted to talk about 8 books that are coming out in the second half of 2021 with asexual representation. I know I'm a little late. I've wanted to do this for like 2 months, but life happened. Also, I'm back on filming on my iPad because I figured that filming on my camera, which has much better quality, takes a lot of my energy. So maybe I can make more videos if I just stick to my iPad. So if you didn't know yet, I have a Google sheet that lists books with asexual main characters, and I have a list with books with asexual side characters, and I have a list with books with asexual characters that are yet to come out. So if you want more books with asexual representation, go to the link below. It will take you to a link tree, and then there you will see the A-Space database. Click on that and you will be taken to the Google sheet. So I will go by date when it's released. All of these are main characters, by the way. I didn't notice that before. All of these are main characters. I have my handy dandy laptop on my lap. So if you see me looking down, that's where I'll be looking for the information because my brain is not a sponge. The first one will be released July 6th. It's by Linsey Miller. It's called What We Devour. It's a YA fantasy and it has a long list of triggers, which I will tell you now. Self-harm, and it has to do with the magic system. Aphobia, murder, the mention of cannibalism, the mention of burning, gore, suicide, mass murder, classism, violence, and death. It's a lot. The story follows Lorena Adler, who has the power of banished gods inside of her. The main character is set to marry a friend of hers, Julian, and when the prince comes to arrest Julian's father, he strikes a deal with her to repair the door that holds back the vial, which I don't know what means. But yeah, it's very dark and grim, and I think that if you like those kind of stories, that you'll like it. It was released July 6th, so you can already read it. The next one is called A Snake Falls to Earth by Darcie Littlebadger. Darcie Littlebadger is also the author of Ilazzo, which was our first book club pick for the Ace Space. It is about a Lipan Apache girl called Nene, and Nene is Aero Ace. It is a YA fantasy and it comes out August 17th. I'm telling you, I do not understand synopses. I read a book because of the cover, not because... I'm kidding. I don't act like I'm reading the synopses and I cannot tell you what it says. I'm so bad at booktube. I'm just gonna read it. Nene is a Lipan girl in our world. She's always felt like there was something more out there. She still believes in the old stories. Ali is a cottonmouth kid from the land of spirits and monsters. Like all cottonmouths, he's been cast from home. He's found a new one on the banks of the bottomless lake. Nene and Ali have no idea the other exists. But a catastrophic event on Earth and a strange sickness that befalls Ali's best friend will drive their worlds together in ways they haven't been in centuries. And there are some who will kill to keep them apart. So this is definitely on my list. I loved Ilazzo. But yeah, the main character is asexual. And it has Native American representation. Again, it comes out August 17th, 2021. Bloody Spade by Brittany M. Willows comes out September 15th. It is a YA fantasy. The main character is demisexual or grey asexual, I don't know. The author is bi and grey ace, and the triggers for it, by the way, are anxiety, panic attack, violence, trauma from physical abuse, kidnapping, and it has a non-sexual forced kiss. This is about a group of empowered jokers called card play. They fight against the darkness and against... Oh, and for equality. I thought, like, against equality, that doesn't sound correct. It's about a teenage boy who learns that the re-emerge of magic might not have been a natural disaster as it first was assumed. Someone is trying to tear down the barrier that separates the magical realms from the mundane. The question is, can card play stop them before it's too late? I gotta tell ya, I read the synopsis twice. Still don't know what it's about. I don't know what it is about my brain, but it cannot soak up information, which sucks because the same also happens when I read a book. I don't know what the book says. Chosen, again by J. Emery, comes out September 24th. It is an adult fantasy. I'm gonna read a bit of the synopsis for you. At 16, Ari fell into a portal and found herself in Calaria, a magical alternate world in need of a hero. So she did the coming of age quest. She saved the kingdom and kissed the farm boy turned king. And when she was done, she went home. She never forgot about her time in Calaria. It never forgot her either, and now 13 years later, she's back. Drafted into the role of champion once more, Ari discovers that magic doesn't mean freedom from consequences. Her actions a decade ago caused ripples that didn't go away when she did. Her magic sword is giving her the silent treatment. The evil ruler she thought she defeated is living in the dungeon, making cryptic predictions that sound a little too much like fact. The farm boy turned king has fallen under a deadly curse that only Ari can break. And Ari, she's starting to think her biggest mistake was ending the fantasy in the first place. I don't know if I filmed this part. Hello, editing Nene here. I didn't film 2 of the books. I talked about it, but I didn't film. So, another book is an anthology. It is called This Is Our Rainbow, 16 stories about him, her, them, and us. And the story by Linsey Bigelow has a sapphic squish in it. So I'm not 100% sure it has a sexual representation, but when I asked the author if she knew any books, any middle grade books with asexual main characters, she said no, but I will have a book released next year with a squish in it. And if you don't know, a squish basically is a crush, but non-sexual, and sometimes people describe it to also mean non-romantic crush. So yeah, I'm hoping that the main character is asexual. Linsey Bigelow also has another middle grade book called Still and the Theory of Evolution. Some other authors that are going to be in the anthology are Claribel E. Ortega, Marieke Nijkamp, AJ Sass, Molly Knox Ostertag, and Alex Gino. Alex Gino is the author of Rick, which also has an Aero Ace protagonist. And then the second one that I didn't hit record will be released, I think, November 1st. It is called A-OK by Jarad Greene. It is a middle grade graphic novel about a boy who goes to middle school and he is really insecure about his acne. I think that it is a semi-autobiographical graphic novel. And the main character starts to wonder why he doesn't have the same feelings as 2 of his classmates have for him. And so I think the main character is also a romantic. Yeah, I'm really excited for these 2 books because we really need more middle grade books with asexual and aromantic representation. So I'm super glad that 2 of them are out this year, and hopefully in the next years there will be many more. Also, another middle grade story that I didn't plan to talk about, but now I'm reminded of. I am making a webcomic with 2 main characters, and one of them is asexual panromantic. It is a middle grade fantasy webcomic, and I hope that it will be premiered in October. October 31st is the date that I have in my mind right now. I will very likely be posting a video about it when it does go up, and I will then give you a link so you can read it. So yeah, technically it's not a book, but it's a webcomic, and I'm really excited for it, and I guess I can show you a picture of it right here. Yes, back to the normal program. I don't know. The Descendants meets Pretty Little Liars. That's the weirdest mashup I've ever seen, but I'm so intrigued. 4 troubled friends, 1 murdered girl, that's where the Pretty Little Liars reference is from, and a dark fate that may leave them all doomed. After the mysterious death of their best friend Ella, Yuki and Rory are the talk of their elite school, Grimrose Academy. The police ruled it a suicide, but the trio are determined to find out what really happened. When Nene SS arrives as their newest roommate, it sets into motion as a series of events they couldn't have imagined. As the girls retrace their friends' last steps, they uncover dark secrets about themselves and their destinies. Discovering they're all cursed to repeat the brutal and gruesome endings to their stories until they can break the cycle. This contemporary take on classic fairy tales reimagines heroines as friends attending the same school. Oh, okay, that's where the Descendants part comes in, I think. While investigating the murder of their best friend, they uncover connections to their ancient fairy tale curses and attempt to forge their own fate before it is too late. Okay, and the main character is also a romantic, which I knew. I knew that. It's also some sapphic representation. Teresa from Sappho's Library said it has sword lesbians. I'm always in for some sword lesbians. I'm gonna need to read this as soon as possible. This sounds really, really amazing. Then again, on November 2nd, releases The Reckless Kind by Carly Heath. It is a YA historical fiction, the most beautiful cover in the world. A genre-defying debut, this queer historical YA centers a wild and reckless trio who fly in the face of a small-town tradition, full of compassion, love, and determination to live the lives of their choosing. It's Norway 1904, and Asta Hedström doesn't want to marry her odious betrothed Nils, even though a domestic future is all her mother believes she's suited for. On account of her single-sided deafness, unconventional appearance, and even stranger notions, Asta would rather spend her life performing in the village theater with her friends and fellow outcasts. Her best friend Gunnar Vogelstad and his secret boyfriend, wealthy Erlend Fournier. I hope that I'm pronouncing these names right. I'm just pronouncing it in the Dutch way, which might be similar to Nor. What kind of language do they speak? Norse. It's Norwegian! It's Norwegian! Can you tell I dropped out of high school? But the situation takes a dire turn when Niels lashes out in jealousy, gravely injuring Gunnar. Shunning marriage for good, Asta moves with Gunnar and Erlend to their secluded cabin above town. With few ties with their families, they have one shot at gaining enough kroner to secure their way of life. Win the village annual horse race. This isn't like anything I've read before. I don't normally read historical fiction, but it sounds really cool. And genre defying, does that mean there's magical too? Isn't it weird when an author has she, they pronouns and then in their bio it only uses she? What's the reason? Like, that's a bit weird, isn't it? Those were all. I have one more, which you can see on the Google database, but the author is a Zionist, so I don't want to talk about her. And then January 1st, At the End of Everything by Marieke Nijkamp comes out, which is next year technically, but it's also really close to this year. But hopefully I have enough books to make another video in half a year about books that are coming out in 2022. I have a few on my list already. I have like 4, which is great. So that was the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to join the Ace Space community, we have a Discord, we have a book club, we have an Instagram, we have a Twitter. Just click on the link tree below and you will be guided to many places. I wanted to remind you, this July and August we're reading Loveless by Alice Oseman, and at the end of August hopefully we'll do a live show. I apologize that we didn't do a live show in June for Beneath the Citadel, but there were some complications. So hopefully I'll see you at the end of August. Or you'll see me, I guess. That doesn't make any sense. Goodbye.